Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today, finishing up our look at Wave 1 of Legacy United. This is Leader Class Tigerhawk. This comes from the Beast Wars universe. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, Tigerhawk is the combination of Tigatron and Air Razor. So obviously you can see the tiger parts here from uh, Tigatron, but this is where I get confused. Air Razor was like a falcon or some sort of bird, was not a hawk, at least from what I remember. So I don't know where they got the hawk parts from, but you can see them here, the rear leg, the wings, the tail fin. This was like back in the day, like a bit like the one of the ultimate Beast Wars toys. Had I think there might have been some lights and sounds. Definitely um there was spring-loaded missiles. For example, and now on this figure, the jaw can open. I don't think that could do it on the original toy. But speaking of like the missiles and stuff, there is an attack mode. So if we come up here, flip up the wings, flip out these guns, flip the wings forward, and do it again on this side, and the guns snap into place forward and back. This was like the attack mode, and if I remember correctly, just make sure I got this. Um, when you would press a button and it would spring into this, the missiles would shoot forward. These right here, I think these were the missiles. They're like feather swords. Maybe not. Maybe they came from the cannons, but um, it was really cool to see. You could of course bring these back down. There is a lot of articulation in the wings and stuff, so you can have them splayed out. Have the tiger flying. Whee! It's like a griffin. Whee! I mean, this really, with the wings all out like that, does not fit in the camera view of my display. And as you can see, I have my camera pulled back quite a bit. So just something to keep in mind if you're thinking about display options for the figure and how much space it's going to take. It's going to take up a lot if you have those wings out. Um, but yeah, now in terms of articulation in the beast mode, I mean, the hawk legs, which are the rear legs, are on ball joints. So you see me having to constantly adjust them. Now, for the front here, there is some movement at like the knee joint of sorts, and there is some movement here with the paw. But to be honest with you, I don't see a lot of it moving out of this position. Now, the head can only go up and down, and that's really just for the transformation. I've seen some people pop open this panel. That's actually for the shoulder, to move the shoulder out of the way, and then using it to cover up this section, but that does end up being a little gappy. So this is really the way I think the figure is supposed to look. So yeah, it's like they were discontinuing the Tigatron and Air Razor figures. So instead of killing them off, they had them abducted by aliens, and then their bodies merged. It was a whole thing. And then, of course, I think if I remember correctly, they were never going to make a toy because Tigerhawk wasn't going to appear that long. So, yeah, what we'll do now is we'll pause and we'll come back for the transformation. Okay, we're back with the transformation. Now, a few general things to note. There is going to be a part, and this is true for going from beast mode to robot mode and robot mode back to beast mode, that you're going to have everything splayed out. Stuff is going to be flopping around, and it might get a little confusing. But everything locks up nicely for beast mode, everything locks up nicely for robot mode, so it does end up pretty well. First thing you want to do is obviously you want to bring uh, the weapons in, and let's just go ahead and get these wings out of the way to start off. Now, however you see fit of getting them out of the way, do it. Make sure the tiger mouth is closed. First thing we're going to do is come down and we're going to transform the legs. So you want to bring this purple piece down. that's going to close in right around there. Oh, my mistake. Don't do that yet. The first thing before you do that, you want to rotate what was the animal paw around, and that's going to reveal what would be the robot foot, which is a smaller tiger paw, and then flip out the heel, and then bring down this purple section. That'll free up the knee joint, what have you. Do it again on this side, same thing. Flip it around, uh, just like that. It exposes that little tech detailing there. So there you have the legs, the front legs done. Next, what I would recommend is straightening out the rear legs. Just again, get them out of the way. The next part, you want to actually bring these down for a second, and then you're going to free up, it'll allow you to come in here, pop the arm up. It does tab into place, and then you want to rotate it. Hopefully I rotated it the right way. Uh, Maybe it's actually, I think it's supposed to go actually this way. So if you're holding the figure like this, you want what will be the elbow joint facing you, and then bring back the head, just free up the head a little, just like that. Next, what you want to do, and this is actually a very important step, we're going to separate um, the front, what were the front legs from the torso. These are actually going to become now the robot mode legs. Kind of cool how they switch positions. You'll see that in a second. But you want to come in here, splay them open, and go into beast mode. You'll know you have this all pegged in properly, where you can actually peg the what will be the crotch piece not only into the post here, but that tab will go into the slot there. And if you don't have it lined up, you're not going to really be able to get it done. So now what you want to do is flip that up, rotate it around, and as I said, you can see, oh, get the damn wings back a little. Uh, things are starting to get a little crazy. Open up this chest panel, and I would say this might be the hardest part of the transformation, is making sure you have this arm pegged into place, because it also relies on you having what'll be the robot mode chest pegged into place. So the forearm, the arm pegs in, tabs into a tab right there, but also collapses up into this section here. So just make sure you have that all done. And at this point, you can, of course, bring down the backpack, and maybe moving the wings out will help. Now, what's really nice about this is the arms can only rotate, the chest can only rotate a certain way. So you want to rotate it this way. The tiger head, let me adjust the camera a little, becomes what would be the right arm facing you, the left arm. And then this arm with the blaster becomes like the left arm. So yeah, so this is basically, you get to this point and you're like, what the heck's going on? But yeah, it does get a little fiddly like that. So the first thing you want to do now is come in, because we're going to start closing things up, and bring out the robot mode head. Bring it out, rotate it just like that. Bring the chest up, just like so. Rotate the beast legs down on their hinge points there, and then you'll just close it up like that. So at least now you have the beast legs done. You can bring that down. Next, what you want to do, uh, and this panel right here will just sit in the back. I mean, it's a little annoying, but it just, it stays out of the way. So make sure the arms are up, just so that you can have them out of the way. And then what you want to do is rotate the the hawk legs around and towards the back. And that will give you the clearance to bring in the panels here. And basically what it'll do is these will fill into the side. So this one will there's a slot and there's the tab on the chest. So that will go in like that. This one will come in and there's the tab there. So that will tab in like that. Bring the arms down and there's like these little uh, it's hard to see, but there's like a tab and a slot that goes in on the arms. And at this point, you might want to help. It might bring open that chest, and then boom, just down like that, and that will bring the arm down. And as a few reviewers have also said, that it doesn't like to peg in. Like once you start moving the arms, those like to unpeg. Speaking of which, now we're going to bring up these wings here. Just again, keep them out of the way. This backpack, there's a slot where my finger is and a white tab, so just, that'll go in. And then what's nice is there are there are tabs on the inside of the wings that will peg into the hawk mode legs. So then what you can do is bring those down, and you'll see these little nubbins here that will go into the chest there, and they peg in. They may not necessarily stay, but they may not stay pegged in, but they'll stay uh, in place if that makes sense. Come on, done. Go there, there, eh. And I do believe. See there, it just and bring the wings forward now. I like to angle them back slightly. And the last step, of course, we need some hands. So open up these panels here, flip out the fists, and here we go. Here we go. Let's peg the gun back on. The instructions showed you to remove the gun, but obviously, as you saw, you can do the transformation while it's attached. Without further ado, I mean, this one's being a little bit of a difficult Nancy here. Why are you being difficult? What am I missing? And there we have Tigerhawk in its robot mode. So, like I said, it does get there's that one point where everything is splayed open, and it gets a little uh, iffy, but you do end up with a very nice robot mode. And you just, I think that, yeah, that, oh no, that head is supposed to stay like that. Oh, okay, I see. So the head actually tabs into the forearm, so into the shoulder, so that's actually, I think, supposed to be one piece. But as you can see, like I said, those shoulder pieces like to pop off and stuff likes to pop up, but you know, it's all good. So very nice robot mode. I mean, the transformation actually isn't that what I would say that bad. I mean, it could be a lot worse. And in fact, I think the original toy is a little more difficult because you had a lot more to do with like terms of friction joints. and instead of just actual pegs and stuff. Now, what exactly you do have this weapon here in robot mode. If you so desire, you can remove one of the cannons. You can flip the cannons up, but they actually can't, fortunately, can't angle forward over the shoulders. That would have been cool. But you can then use it as a uh, hand weapon. So you've got this going on right here, double laser. And then if you really want to go crazy, these are a little finicky to get off. You got to like wiggle jiggle. But remember, I mentioned these tail fins. You can pop them off, and basically you end up with feather swords. So you do have that. Now, in terms of the articulation, the arms, they swivel here. Outward movement, you have to lift up those panels. You got a 90-degree, over 90-degree bend at the elbow, bicep swivel, no wrist articulation, unfortunately. Um, so there is that. And remember, with and it's really with on this one, the arm movement is a little more because of the tightness of the joint with the tiger head. Ooh, I just popped open that. Oh. So there is that. The hips, you do have now. There's a soft detent that locks the leg in this position. The next one, you can go out this way, but it kind of stops right here. So you do end up with a very wide A stance. So for some poses that looks cool, for others you may not enjoy it that much. And then of course there is forward and back ratcheting directly at the hip, and you do get a nice knee bend. So let me see, is there a spot for a flight stand? Oh, this is like making you just gotta press. You might be able to work a flight stand in somewhere back here. Not sure, but yeah. So you do can get some nice posing and what have you. Uh, if working a flight stand or something, or just standing. Does have a waist, which I think is kind of cool with how everything comes together. And then of course we already talked about the wings. So yeah. So uh, really not much more to say about the figure. It for a character that like had a very brief appearance in the Beast Wars cartoon. It is nice that they are reaching out and bringing it in. Um, I think the toy was a little more fondly remembered because you figured it was a lot of gimmicks and stuff. But the character, not so much. I think Tigertron and Air Razor were more remembered than Tigerhawk. And correct me if I'm wrong, this was the original toy was repainted for the Universe line as the main bad guy named Razor Claw or something. Like had purple, like lavender, yellow, it was like some really weird, like out there colors. So I think that's about it for the review. We'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. I almost forgot to give you a close up of the head. Yeah, it does have gritting teeth, which I think is kind of interesting. Also, it is on a ball joint, but I do sometimes feel it's a little limited that it cannot look up as high as I would want it to. Um, I think Tigerhawk is a fun figure. Uh, the transformation, once you do it a couple times, isn't that bad. The big things for me is just making sure the torso and that arm lock into place so you can close the panels up properly. And, just having those rear legs line up. I mean, the little things like the shoulders here, not, well, unlocking when you move the arm or having like the little hawk pause, unpeg. I mean, I think that's nature of the beast. I mean, like right now, I'm not sure if they're even pegged in, but they're sitting there. So that's how it's supposed to look. So that's how it works. I mean, there are 3 millimeter and 5 millimeter ports on the blasters, so you can have fun like that. But really, I think this is only going to appeal to the diehard Beast War collector who was looking for this update to the character, and maybe the ones who grew up with the toy as a kid. I mean, again, this was a very brief appearance. I even think that the toy itself had a very limited shelf life, just because it wasn't featured that much in the cartoon. It was like 2 or 3 episodes, and then Tigerhawk was uh, put offline, if you will. Other than that, I think it just works well. And again, I appreciate that they are going that deep into lines to pick figures out. It's very interesting to note, looking back at United Wave 1, there were no G1 characters. It was from, I mean, yes, we had a Prime and Bumblebee, but it was animated. You had the new Armorizers. You had guys from Rescue Bots. You had Cyberverse. Really just a nice assortment. And that actually leads me to my next question, and you guys can help me out with this, my longtime viewers. Is this the fastest we've actually gone through a Wave 1 before? Because you figure the Voyagers, and I think some of the Scouts were before Christmas, and then maybe I got some of the deluxes like right uh, after, or again maybe right before Christmas. But the longest one to wait was Tigerhawk, and I mean, that again, that was coming from Amazon. And what's interesting is we got them. This wave is done now, and realistically, going by the original ship dates from Amazon, which I've been told may or may not actually be saturation dates. That's a discussion for another time. They were only supposed to start shipping now, or even last next week. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of interesting because there's no solicitations for Wave 2 yet, no pre-orders, not even a reveal. So, um, there's going to be a little bit of a wait, but it does look like the Studio Series is going to be popping up early, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, overall, I think United was a very good wave. There might be some figures you didn't like, as just nature of the beast, but I wouldn't say that they were inherently bad figures. And it was very interesting to see that again, there were no G1 characters. And I'm curious now to see how that's going to translate onto the retail shelves. So that's about it for this review. If you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. I always appreciate the views, but the likes, comments, and subscriptions help communicate to YouTube through the algorithms that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support, I do have a Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you to help me help you bring figures like Tigerhawk to you, but also keeping up the infrastructure of the channel. As I always say, if you can't swing the $1 a month, $12 a year, your views are more than thanks enough. Um, Once again, as I always say, Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous Sunday. That generous Sunday has been your support over the last 10 years with views and things of that nature. So once again, this is your old pal Chuck for Tigerhawk. We will see you next time.